Inside Tulsa Football with head coach Dave Rader is brought to you by Arby's Roast Beef Restaurant, Bank of Oklahoma, where convenience is cornered, Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center, Lexus of Tulsa, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today, Mazzio's Pizza, Pacific Care. When choosing a health plan, choose Pacific Care. Pepsi. Smith Barney. We make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it. Southwest Airlines. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart. The Tulsa World. And by the Williams Company.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Inside Tulsa Football. I'm head coach David Rader, and we're joined tonight by our athletic director, Christopher Small. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, Dave.
We have Bill Land on secret assignment tonight. We could tell you where he is, but then it wouldn't be secret. So Bill should be back next week. And Chris, we're glad that you're here. I know you have many things to doing, and we will get into all the activities at TU Athletic Department after a while. But sit back, and we're going to watch some highlights. And first of all, talk about some players of the game. Offensive player of the game this week was Justin Heineke, who has been playing very well the last 3 games, especially graded 88% this week, and he's out of Edmond High School via NEO in Miami. Justin continues to get better every week. The defensive player of the week is Lance Sloan out of Cypress Creek High School in Houston. Lance had 10 tackles, a sack for -6 yards, and 3 quarterback hurries. Lance continues to shore up the middle for us. Our special teams player of the week is Jody Sparks out of Yukon, Oklahoma. You can see there that he has 3 tackles, 2 solo tackles. Played very, very well on our special teams. And Jody plays better every week and coming off his hamstring injury. We'll be back in a little bit to watch the first half highlights. Stay tuned.
Handoff right side, Jacoby cuts back, now cuts to the right to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Tulsa. Jason Jacoby, 16 yards, and the Hurricane have a 6-0 lead.
Go to the videotape right now. It was a nice autumn afternoon to play football and really had a pretty decent crowd there, Chris.
It was. In fact, we were a little worried as the weather started to look like it might not be all that good, but this has been an interesting year for us. Without having OSU at home, we haven't done quite as well as we would have liked, but we're looking forward to next year turning that around.
It's going to be a challenge in it. We need to continue to build our season ticket base. That's the backbone of our program now.
Clearly, it's the major opportunity we have to develop the kind of revenue we're going to need to be competitive in the WAC.
But the folks that were there Saturday, I think, came to watch a good football game. They were really into the game. You see here on our opening drive, we've been able to establish the run game. John has come out and hit a pass right here to Clay Martin coming underneath for a big first down. Jason Jacoby's playing. We tried to start Solomon White, and he got hit on the ankle on the very first play. Jacoby comes in. Solomon gets another try right there. Jacoby comes back. We go off tackle. He breaks 2 tackles and into the end zone. Michael Kedzer down there blocking. A good job on the right side. Chris Anderson, Doug Pasula, Brian Noonan, and the whole group. You see him right there. Here's Brian Noonan out of Stroud High School in Stroud, Oklahoma, leading the way. And he gets in the end zone. Chris Anderson out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right there at the tight end position. And you see the receivers, of course, greeting him in the end zone. A nice drive, 9 plays, 65 yards. We needed that. And now let's see what kind of field position we could get. As you've seen, every time we kick off this year, Chris, it's been interesting.
Yes, it is.
Kickoff coverage.
It makes it more exciting for the fans, Dave.
Unfortunately, it has been. And right off the bat, SMS have tried to come and hit the what we call the wheel route, which has been successful, especially for East Carolina. It was a winning touchdown route that they threw against us. If you recall back at the homecoming game, they're trying to get some passes. You see Lance Sloan, the defensive player of the game, putting a little pressure on the quarterback, pulls it down and runs with it for the first down. They run the counter play. Again, nice play there by the front. Lance Sloan again, Corey Lax. Corey out of Frederick, Oklahoma. Frederick's in the state playoffs again in the second round. We have quite a few high schools represented on our team with this. Justin Rich has a leg there. Justin out of Okmulgee High School, having his first start due to Salifu Abdullah's injury, and played very well. To come back with the pass again, Lance is going to get a hurry, grabs the leg. You see Cedric Clark, of course, Cedric out of Willow Ridge High School in Houston, putting some heat on there. They come with a pitch, a nice block out front, just enough for the first down. Pat D'Onofrio with the stop. Pat, of course, out of Dixon, California. They come back and run the option to the right. We missed 2 tackles, and now they have responded to our score with the counter score, now 7-7, and we have a bunch of safety patrol youngsters there watching the game, making sure the fans were safe. And
that's right. They were part of a large group of youngsters we had from Tulsa for the game.
We also had Band Day.
Yes, indeed.
Ken has done an outstanding job putting Band Day together.
And that was not only important in terms of getting a whole lot of students onto the TU campus, but we had a lot of parents come to follow and watch the band.
Outstanding. We always continue to recruit students, student athletes, and using our stadium is a great way to do that. We were just so appreciative of all the bands that came for Band Day. You can see now Southwest Missouri again has mounted another drive. We misread a key, let the tight end go scot-free down the middle of the field. We have a touchdown saving tackle. They're going to run a couple plays here to the left. Again, excellent blocking. The scheme that Coach Branch and his staff uses there is outstanding. The fullback, again, you see Corey Lax again at the bottom of the pile. Now they're going to run the bootleg, and the quarterback's going to outrun everybody into the end zone. We're just a tad late getting there. And now all at once, it's 14-7. Tad is in the game. We're going to alternate quarterbacks. Right here gets to Wes's hands. He gets pounded a little bit. Jacoby on the draw play. Again, we're working very well up front. 3-man rush. So there's 8 people defending the pass. Tad reads that, pulls it down, makes a run on 3rd down for a first down. Of course, Tad out of Ulaga, Oklahoma. A good play there, Tad. Handed off to Jason. Jacoby reading his blocks effectively, getting outside close to the first down. We come back. We had the safety bite on it. Tad lost it downfield. Excellent concentration by Michael Kedzer. All 11 people doing their job right there. You see the line up front blocking. Excellent fake by Kenny Gunn. And then Tad lays it right into Michael Kedzer. Excellent photography right there, Mike. And I don't know who to give the credit to on that, but nice job downstairs. And Tad now getting a word of encouragement from Ron Calcagni at the top. And we're back up, tied 14-all. Let's see again what our kickoff coverage can do. And this is great. James Anderson out of Westmore lays into one. They have to start on the 20. The fullback, fake, right, and we tackle the quarterback. I think it was Justin Rich again to come back on the counter. John Peters out of Cassia Hall High School here in Tulsa with the tackle right there. We come back on the counter option. Looks like we have him. He pitches the ball forward, actually, and fumbles the ball. Correct ruling by the official, making that an incomplete pass. Lance Sloan with the sack right there. Excellent job. You see it again here at ground level. Lance out of Cypress Creek High School in the Cypress School District there in the northwest part of Houston. A nice play, big play by one of our seniors that we gave special recognition to the first of the game. We're indebted to those 11 young men that we did. And then we had the punt, get a good roll, see what we can do here. Come back, Tad still in the game, come back out on the bootleg. Everybody's covered once again. Jason Percy in front, trying to get a block, got knocked down from behind. First down by Tad. Get Kenny off, tackle to the left. He breaks outside. You see Kenny's acceleration coming back. It's been a long time since Kenny's been in the game, since the Missouri game. We've been missing him.
I'm absolutely amazed, though, that he's able to run as well as he is after ankle surgery like that. That's just amazing.
It's been an incredible comeback, and you have to give him tremendous amount of credit. We try to go deep again on the same play that we scored on earlier, get it to West in the flat. We have it a little bit low, so we come back and say, Tad, throw one to your left, and gets it to West, a big first down right there. We're moving the ball, getting close to the end of the half. The draw play to Kenny. Again, you're seeing he seems to get working more and more into the ball game. He seems to loosen up and show a little acceleration. We try to get outside, get the first down on the toss sweep. The screen play to Jason back in the game. A fine tackle by their strong safety. We're close to the 15-yard line, and now we're going to run the draw play, and Jason kind of stumbles right there, runs into the back. We have a third down and about 2 yards. And right here, we just try to squeeze the ball in a little bit too much. The pass is not open. We had Clay come underneath. Sets up a 4th down. James Anderson comes in, kicks the field goal, and we're up by 3 points at the half. Feeling good about it. We know we've got to make some adjustments right there. Looking forward to the second half play. We'll have to play some outstanding football because we realize the option game that we're playing is not the one we practice against. And SMS is hot. Our running game is hot. Let's see if we can hold on and make the second half go for us. We'll be back for the second half highlights right after this.
Back to pass, Tad Jones throws long and over the middle, and it is caught by Kenzior at the 10. 5, touchdown, Tulsa. Jones hits him over the middle. A beautifully thrown ball, and Kenzior scores the touchdown.
You just
begin, and Chris, we were in the locker room a little bit tight about this game. I don't know how it was where you were, but well, you probably felt like we had it all under control.
Not at all. In fact, knowing that I was going to be here this evening, I was a little bit concerned that you only had a 3-point lead at the half.
I tell you, we were glad to have that lead, and one of the things that we talked about at halftime was we needed to come out and stop it. And right there, Madianvita Kazadi out of Newton, Kansas, looked like he'd stripped the ball loose, and we had the turnover we were talking about. But that didn't happen, and now you see the quarterback jumping forward, getting the first down by a half a length of the ball. They're going to drive down and score, and this is not how we wanted to start.
One of the big disappointments was that they were supposed to turn the ball over a whole lot, and they didn't do that.
They didn't do it. They were down -15 for the year, and haven't given us even hardly a clue to get a turnover. And now they're going to drive once again. They get us outmanned, and they come back and have the blocking angles right there. And the quarterback runs right into the end zone. We're down now 21-17. We come back, try to drive, stall out on the 50-yard line. We need a good punt. We get one. The punt now is inside the 10-yard line. I really feel like now that we have to stop them. I think that we can stop them. And they get 5 yards and first down. And again, that's way too many. I see somebody come up and make a play. And right here we have one. You see big Corey Lax, etc. A bunch of cold hats right there. Lance Sloan at the base of that one right there. We hold them, force the punt. The wind is very brisk coming out of the south. Booms the punt down there. Pat Denarfield makes a nice return. He just forgets to look at one guy. That guy right there. We didn't see him. But we get good yardage. And now we're going to have to make something happen. John Fitzgerald, our quarterback, starts again in the second half out of Seminole, Oklahoma. Comes out, nobody's open. But we have linemen downfield. It's 1st and 20. We come back with a quarterback draw. John gets 15 yards back, so now we're 2nd and 15, or it's about 2nd and 7, I should say. We come around there and try to pick it up. We can't get it. Now we flip it to West in the flat. Right there, first down. We've overcome that penalty. You got to feel good about our drive. John comes out again on the bootleg. Runs out of bounds at 2nd and 5. We're in the toss sweep. Kenny Gunn again out of Cassia Hall. Michael Kedzor. You see Brian Noonan out of Stroud. Jason Percy, Holland Hall. We get the first down. We get a dead ball foul. Makes it 1st and 10. So now we flip it out to West. He makes the guy miss. A good block by Clay Martin right there. We get the big first down. We've overcome now 2 first downs. We feel like now we can go ahead and score. Kenny Gunn on the toss sweep. He's one man away from breaking it all the way. Come on, Kenny, get outside there. Show some acceleration. He's close to going back. Wes Caswell again out of Tulsa. Edison with the block. Casey Bourne out of Crescent, Oklahoma in with their short yardage offense. You see Jason Sanders there out of Deer Park outside of Houston. There, one of the luckiest plays that we've had the whole year. We misread the signals and throw it out there, and Clay looks up and catches the ball. We get yardage on a busted play. Jason Jacoby outside. We come back in and run the draw play to him once again. He breaks a tackle, makes a couple of yards. We come in. Hey, John, show the ball, come out, fake it. Here we go, into the end zone. Jason Percy, Wes Caswell throwing blocks. We're into the end zone. We have the lead back. Big, big drive, overcoming 2 penalties. Again, Chris, I think it shows the character of our kids. They overcome those 2 penalties. Go ahead and drive.
I think that really was a turning point in terms of giving a sense of having the game under control, because we were really moving the ball pretty well.
Excellent point right there. I think it gave our bench a bunch of confidence. We retained Big Mo. Big momentum was on our bench. Now we have to slow them down somehow. They still get outside here. Can we stop them and retain the momentum and get the game in hand? SMS is not going to let that happen. Again, Corey Lax right there. Floyd Good, one of our captains that was voted on this week out of Booker T. Washington High School, who again is advancing in the playoffs. And now they're marching, and we're going to come up and try to hold them here. And quarterback goes back to throw. Bo Deschero, redshirt freshman out of Chicago, Illinois, right there. They come down. It's fourth. We set up a fourth down. Of course, they've got to go for it. We have a squeeze by the defensive end. He doesn't come down and make the tackle. We miss a couple of tackles in the secondary, and the fullback lumbers all the way in the end zone. We've got a ball game, but we're trying to get in the hand, and now we've let it get out of hand. We drive, stall out. We get the ball in the 20. We've got to play some good defense right here. Kazadi there on the tackle. I think Justin Rich again out of Okmulgee was there. We come in here, we need a big play out of somebody, and Cedric Clark comes in and sacks the quarterback. Cedric out of Willow Ridge High School, for southwest of Houston, Sugar Land, makes a big play for us, forces SMS to punt. The wind is picked up. He gets a short punt with a bad bounce. We get good field position. You saw Brian Self come in there. Brian out of Norman, Oklahoma, about to make the block on the punt. Tad Jones back in at quarterback on the quarterback draw. We toss it to Jason Jacoby. He's a hand away from breaking. He bounces off. It looks like he's going to come outside. Tremendous effort right there again by him, the whole left side of the line. The Tad comes back. We've got him set up. Beautiful route by Michael Kezor. Tad lofts it up, and you see it here. The guys are excited, and I think we get a shot from the ground level right here. You see Tad lofting it up. Good throw. Way to set up Tad. Good job. Michael, excellent concentration. The protection, everything worked again. We get the big play. We respond, come back, and get the lead. And now maybe the most critical era of the game for SMS, and they try to run a kick out. We stack them up inside the 10. We're going to play some defense right here. Again, the quarterback tries to follow his lead back. Nothing going there. We tackle the fullback right here. I believe it's John Peters. Hang on that leg, John. Pat D'Onofrio, number 4. You see a bunch of gold hats on there. We get a little pressure on them. They throw it out of bounds. It was ruled the flag was thrown for interference, but they were all on the white. That's not a catchable pass, so the flag didn't hold. And now the wind really knocked down a punt. Here we are 42 yards away. We can ice this game if we can come down here, get some push on the line, and just look at the left side of the line there. You see Jason Sanders, you see Justin Heineke, Brian Noonan, everybody's in there pushing the line forward. Excellent job, guys. Now we get it out to Michael Kedzor. Again, Michael out of Claremore, Oklahoma. Nice play there. Come back. Third down. Run the bootleg, nothing there. Tad jumps it back up inside. It's fourth down. What do? Nah, don't go for the field goal. Give it to Jason Jacoby on the screen. Big first down. Clay Martin down to Tulsa Hill down there blocking for him. Now we're going to feed it to Jason. Not one time to the left side, but we're going to come right back and let's give it to him again. And to the left side once. Jason says, no, I'll go cut back to the right. And goes almost untouched in the end zone. And the guys are really happy. We can sense victory. A fourth quarter that we can win. Let's put some pressure on the quarterback. They put the throwing quarterback in. Malcolm Williams comes in and snuffs whatever chance that they might have. We have a victory. The guys are feeling very good about themselves. And it's a win for Tulsa. A big win for 11 seniors who the last time put on the blue jersey. And looking forward then to getting in the locker room, celebrating with them, and then, of course, talking about next week's game. Well, that's it for the highlights right now. Just stay tuned. We'll come back and we'll talk with Chris and some things going on at TU.
Here's a rollout to the left side. By the way, it's a first down for the Hurricane. Fitzgerald rolling left to the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown. On the first and goal play from the 9.5-yard line, Fitzgerald rolling left. He ran it in for the score.
The most valuable in what's down, who's being taken over, and who's being overtaken in the world's expanded business section every day, because nothing covers more of your world than your world.
Hello and welcome back. And Chris, you have tonight's Smith-Barney nominees.
Yes, I do. And the Smith-Barney Old Fashioned Award nominees, first is Doug Pisula. Doug's number 61 from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania.
Doug played very well for us at a strong tackle position.
Second one is Brian Noonan, who's an offensive guard from Stroud, Oklahoma. Then Justin Rich, a defensive tackle from Okmulgee.
Justin made his first start due to the injury of Salifu Abdullah and played very well.
Then we have John Peters, a linebacker from Tulsa.
Cassia Hall High School, and again, plays very heady, played in our special teams as well as his outside linebacker position.
Then we have Cedric Clark, a defensive end from Missouri City, Texas.
And of course, we saw one of his big plays in the tackling of the quarterback for a loss there in the game.
And Michael Beckner from Oakmont, Pennsylvania, offensive tackle.
Michael is our deep snapper, and once again, the snaps were perfect throughout the whole game.
And the Smith-Barney Old-Fashioned Award winner this week is Brian Noonan from Stroud, Oklahoma.
And we're very appreciative of the support of Smith-Barney, and that award just lets us award some people. Sometimes the stats don't show the job that they do, and all those guys are in the trenches and work extremely hard, and it's good to recognize those guys.
Well, that's right, Dave, and I'd re-emphasize what you said about how much we appreciate Smith-Barney. It's supporters such as that that really make a difference in us being able to carry on this whole process.
No question about it. And if there's some people lined up out there who want to get on board, call in here in a little bit, and we'll talk with them. And speaking of getting on board, we were very excited about having the opportunity to kick off the Toys for Tots Christmas season, where Santa was there. I think it was Jason Starosky. It sure looks like his motion right there. And Uncle Zeb was there. We got to kick off the Christmas season with Toys for Tots at our game.
Well, that was great.
If you watch Uncle Zeb, of course, every day here at 4 o'clock, and you'll see that you get more information about a big roller skating party coming up for the youngsters all over town, and where you can bring your toys for all the underprivileged children here in Tulsa. Tulsa is such a giving city, and I know that we will respond very, very well with that. And we were just so glad to be a part of that.
Well, it helps set the tone for a great game and reinforce, I think, in the minds of Tulsans how much we are a team player in the community.
It is. And speaking of the community, we have so many things going on just in our little community. We've seen in the paper, Chris, about all the building projects that are going on, and I know you had asked us quite often. We have a chance now with our TV audience to expound upon that. Just what is this map that we've seen in the paper? What all does it show that's going to be happening on campus?
Well, this came out of the strategic plan, Dave, that we, the trustees, voted in about, I guess now it's almost 4 years ago. And in the strategic plan, there were 4 major buildings proposed. One was a engineering building. Another was a music building. A third was a law library, which is really in addition to the law school. And the fourth, and most important from our perspective, is a new student life and convocation center, which will include not only a large recreational sports component, which will be great for all TU students, but also will have a 10,000-seat arena for basketball as well as volleyball and convocations and concerts and that kind of thing. So that will be a tremendous addition to the TU campus.
Would it be an accurate statement to say that right now the University of Tulsa could very well be the only growing urban campus in America with this plan?
Well, certainly among private institutions, and probably even public, in this particular time in the 90s when higher education is literally stagnating under a variety of financial pressures, this is a bold move on the part of the university, and I think it shows the kind of commitment and attitude the trustees have towards making the University of Tulsa truly one of the outstanding institutions in this region. To to pull it off is going to be no small feat, and is going to require an awful lot of support from our alumni and from the Tulsa community. But we expect that we will be going into the public phase of the capital campaign in the fairly near future, probably in the spring sometime, which will be the beginning of really fundraising for these projects.
Mm-hmm. Do you see that the commitment made by the trustees and the university to this was even exhibited as part of saying it's okay, go ahead and join the conference, and we realize there's an initiation fee, but this is what we need to do?
Clearly. There's a good deal of talk about whether or not it made financial sense to pay the kind of initiation fee the Western Athletic Conference was looking for, and as I think probably all the viewers know, there was a certain amount of discussion about this over the course of the summer. And I think we worked out a very reasonable arrangement, and clearly it makes all the sense in the world for the University of Tulsa because of the revenue stream that should come out of that on the one hand, but more important, I think, or equally important, is the fact that we finally have a sense of belonging and an opportunity to develop some rivalries with a group of institutions that we would very much like to associate with.
No question about it. And speaking of belonging, there's a lot of things that you can do to belong right now. There's a Golden Hurricane Club. There's many events on campus. And here's a look at just a few of the things that are happening within the University of Tulsa athletic program right now.
Cazior to the left, Caswell to the right, 1st and 10 from the 40. Jones back to pass, has time, throws long to the near side toward Cazior, catches it at the end zone for a touchdown.
Gets hungry neath the big sky. A big deal, hope you're driving by. Gather up all the young'uns inside. This deal's made for a big appetite.
Slow roasted beef and tangy cheddar. Now there's a taste that's hard to beat. And you won't beat Arby's 4 beef and cheddar sandwiches for $5. 4 for $5 won't last long, so
Saddle up, hurry on by. Look for the hat in the western sky.
Arby's, it's better out here.
Testing one's strength starts at an early age. Wanting to be strong and look that way is sure to follow. Mature strength training requires proper instruction and supervision. The positive...
Oh, I tell you, the music that Mike picks out is truly sometimes amazing. Hey, it's your turn. The only coaches show in America that'll let you talk to the coach. And tonight, you have a double whammy. Chris Small, the Director of Athletics, is with us, and we welcome your calls. 669-4884. We're waiting on him. And hello, welcome to the program. Hello. Okay.
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
Congratulations
Good
on
evening.
the win.
Good evening. Thank you. It was
Chris, it's awful nice to be a fan of the only major college in Oklahoma that doesn't have a coaching problem.
Thank you very much. So let's keep it that way.
Coach, I'd like to, noticing that you only graduated 11 kids this year, I was wondering if you might comment on the recruiting class from last year that probably were redshirted, and whether you're in the contacts you're having with some of the high school kids around the country now that we're a member of the WAC, is there a higher interest level?
Well, you've asked quite a few questions right there. The 11 youngsters that we recognized Saturday are all on schedule to graduate. Some of them, of course, are in their 4th year here and will need 5 years to graduate, and they're all going to be there. We're very, very proud of that fact. Wish them the best. They'll be very productive people and citizens of the community. The group that we signed last February, of course, has been, for the most part, our scout team this year. We feel like that there are many, many good players that we're working against every day. We have some good offensive linemen. We have some good defensive linemen. We have virtually every spot covered. We feel good about these young men as they're growing physically, they're growing emotionally, hopefully, of course, and we just think it'll be a good class. Now, as far as this year's class we'll sign in February, there's many, many names out there. We're trying to narrow that down. We hope that there's some young men out there that are narrowing down their list to us also. Thanks for the call. And we'll go on to the next call. Good evening.
Yes, Coach. Congratulations on the win. One
Thanks.
comment, I think Coach Thomas and your offensive line has done an outstanding job protecting the quarterback this year.
Yes, no question about it.
And also, can you update us on the injury situation with Solomon and Sally Fu?
We will right now. Sally Fu, I think, is questionable at best, or maybe probable at best. He may get to play some Saturday. Solomon White ran around some today. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. We need him to be 100%. We're just such a more explosive offense with him in there. Jason has done an outstanding job. You know, Solomon just gives us that little extra kick. And your comment regarding offensive line pass protecting, well, is accurate. They've been doing an excellent job and getting better every week. That's a very good observation on your part. Thanks again for calling. And we'll go on to call number 3.
Good evening, David.
Good evening.
Great game Saturday, and I was delighted to see Kenny Gunn play and play so well.
Well, you haven't called in a while.
Yeah, I know that, and you've already answered the other question I had with regard to injuries.
All right.
It looks like you're in pretty good shape.
Well, we're okay. We're not exactly where we want to be on that. There's still some guys kind of bumped and bruised, but I tell you what, it was good to go through the game. Some guys that were questionable the week before, like John Fitzgerald going through the whole game and playing Madi Vita Kazadi, playing the whole game and coming out. Jeremy Bunch, coming back from his neck injury. I think we'll be okay, and as the week progresses, hopefully there'll be some more guys coming back. Another young man that played some Saturday that we hadn't seen in a while was Aaron Murray. Aaron, now Chicago, Illinois, played very well for us.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. And next on the show, welcome and good evening.
Coach?
Hello.
I was wondering if you've been contacted about the Oklahoma Sooner job, and if you were, what would be the status on that?
Yes, I was contacted this afternoon, and the $500,000 they offered was not enough. So, no, they haven't, and it's always flattering to be mentioned. It's a whole lot better to be mentioned about people wanting you than people not wanting you. Believe you me. But no, these things start this time of year, but we haven't heard anything. And our whole focus right now is to play Cincinnati. But I appreciate you calling. Thanks. And good evening. Welcome to the show. I've talked to them before, Mike. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Inside Tulsa Football.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I've tried to call a couple times now, Coach.
Thanks for calling in.
No problem. I was wondering, do you think that your tight end situation this year has been a hindrance to your offense, or do you think that it's coming along later in the season? I mean, I've been to all the home games, and I'm becoming a major Tulsa fan. Great. I hope you continue to come back and you'll buy season tickets every year. I think our tight end position gets better every week. We were with Chris Anderson playing more and more, starting with the Oklahoma State game. Our rushing total picked up more and more with Mark Lippy and Aaron Murray getting better every week. I think it's going to be a strong position for us, and we look forward to those guys getting stronger. Hello and welcome to the show. We appreciate you calling.
Coach, I've been wondering why you haven't played Tad Jones since the Missouri game.
Tad has always been available, and he works hard and prepares himself very well to play every game. And it was time for Tad to play, and he was anxious to play, and he was ready to play every game. And we're so pleased for Tad to get in there. And, I think I'll be probably a little more open to play 2 quarterbacks than I have been in the past. And we'll probably go with the same rotation, very similar to what we did last Saturday. Both quarterbacks performed at a high efficient rate, and we were glad for that because we needed them to play well Saturday for us to win. Thanks for calling. Hello and welcome to the show.
Yes, Coach. How are you tonight?
Good. What's going on?
Hey, listen, congratulations on the big win Saturday.
Thanks.
And good luck against the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask you and Dr. Small one thing just to kick around here. With our high standards out here at the University of Tulsa, we're kind of in there like with, Rice, SMU, Duke, this kind of thing. Is this a problem with recruiting? Or how does this, is there problems kind of with that, or is that approached by both you and Dr. Small and all the other people out there that that count?
It's a great question. You want first dibs?
Well, I think it's both a plus and a minus. The University of Tulsa is known as a academically oriented institution, and I think there are student athletes who look at us because of our academic reputation, and it places us in a certain market niche. On the other hand, it clearly limits the number of people who are available and makes it a lot tougher for you to not only find students who can play, but students who can perform in the classroom.
Well, the way I look at it is that I use triangle, and that as you get closer to a 4-point, you squeeze the number of people that are available for you to go for. And as we are in college football, everybody's trying to raise that. And I don't know if that's right now. We need to keep that triangle as wide open as we can. The institutions themselves should be able to set their standards. Whatever our standards are fine with me. That's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to coach football, and we have a provost, we have trustees, we have administrators. They know what's best for our university, and then we work within the rules. Now, in all of college football, I don't think we all have to be under the same guidelines. I think it should be open. We have now set in place guidelines that forces young men and young women to meet requirements towards graduation. If we had that set in place, then each school really should be able to let in whoever they want to, and if people can go by the guidelines and can graduate, then those schools are helping those people, and why not do it? How do you feel about that?
I would agree with you. I think the new satisfactory progress rules make it impossible for institutions to abuse the academic standards that they used to. There was a time when a student could be admitted as a freshman and be kept eligible to play for 4 years without making any progress towards a degree, and that wasn't fair for the student and really was an abuse. But I think you're exactly right. If a student is admitted and can maintain the standards of that institution, I don't see any reason to put a ceiling on that. The one thing I would also say about the quality of TU students, that it's a high quality as measured by standardized test scores and grade point average and all of the standard admissions measuring sticks, but it's also a high quality student in terms of their integrity, and in some respects they're more coachable student athletes.
No question. We could go on and on about this because it's really something we are going to discuss within our athletic department, coaches, with the upcoming NCAA regulations. Excellent points. We appreciate you calling. I know there's some other people wanting to call tonight, but you can call Wednesday night. We'll be at the Charleston Bay Restaurant. We'll be there from 7 to 8 o'clock. Last week we didn't have as many calls as we can handle during the hour, so feel free to call and listen in Tulsa, AM 1430, and you can call Wednesday evening. We'll be there 7 to 8 to Charleston Bay Restaurant, and we'll welcome any and all your calls at that time. We'll have even more time to talk about it. We appreciate all the calls we had tonight. Stay tuned. We have more to come.
There's a handoff up the middle. Jacoby, big hole to the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. Jason Jacoby had a huge hole up the middle, and it's a 15-yard touchdown run by Jacoby, his second TD of the ball game, and the Hurricane take command.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Tulsa Football. Chris, you know, Mike Davis and the crew here does an excellent job with the whole show and the videotape and the features, and we're just really glad to have them doing our show.
Well, I've been really impressed with the film side of this this business and how quickly you can go through that. I was wondering how many times you will looked at that film and where it came from.
By the time we get here, I've watched it about four times. And on a win, boy, it's great to watch it again. And sometimes after we've lost a tough one, they come in here and I said, man, we got to watch it again. It just wears us down. But the reason we get to do that is because videotape has revolutionized, almost really revolutionized college football. A couple of years ago, we were having a change in how we were going to do videotape, and we needed somebody to take control and do it. Cliff Abbott, one of our coaches, came by and said his brother was interested in doing it. I said, no, he's crazy. He's not interested in doing this. And he is now a graduate student on the campus at the University of Tulsa and does an outstanding job. And if you would, watch this feature on our videographer, Bud Abbott.
At the top of the press box, it's another day at the office for Bud Abbott.
I do all the filming for TU football, practice, football games, anything that Coach Rader or the coaches need. That's me. I do all the video.
He's everywhere. Every practice, every home game, every road game, and every day working toward a degree. After the game, his work really begins.
We go back into the film room and we break down the film. We go through the game again and break it down into offensive and defense and kicking. And we also do what we call an interlace, which is you take the wide shot, which is my camera shot, and then the end zone shot, and interlace them together where you see the play at two different angles, one right after another, and go through the whole game and do that. Depending on how long the game is, average, for one game, it usually takes to interlace about 6 hours.
Bud is the brother of special teams coach Cliff Abbott. For now, football is kind of a family business.
He's pretty good about asking when he needs a certain thing, and we work it out like brothers should work it out.
Right now it's a lot of fun. Real fortunate to be able to work in a situation with your brother on a daily basis. Just a chance to spend some time together and really to continue a relationship.
At halftime, Bud helps out the band with some video. It seems that shooting football includes more than pigskin pictures for the guy who may actually be the eye of the hurricane.
He came up to me for practice. He said there was somebody stopping by, and would I make sure and get it on film and everything because he was going to give him a copy. Well, nobody had any idea, and we were up here press box filming. We happened to see in our view up here this big motorcade. We couldn't figure out what was going on, and all of a sudden helicopters, and there was I guess Secret Service people up here checking us out. We had no idea what was going on. And then when Vice President Quayle showed up, I was the first one who could see through my camera him getting out of the car. Thought, Coach Rader has some pretty impressive friends. If this is just a friend stopping by to check out practice.
I tell you what, Bud Abbott does an outstanding job. David Jones, one of our student athletes, does the end zone photography for us, and they just do a great job. Chris, we're trying to talk Bud in to not stop with his master's degree, but go ahead and get that PhD. Don't you think he should go ahead and get that?
I think that would be a must, and I don't know how he could live without a PhD or how we could live without his filming.
I don't know how we do it, and the things that Bud does and putting together and organizing, and we are truly indebted to Bud Abbott. And Bud, we appreciate all the work you do, and we don't say that enough, and David Jones for helping him out. Well, we enjoyed that feature. Stay tuned. We've got more to come.
Hogue will drop back to pass. Has time, steps up, throws near side. Intercepted by Malcolm Williams at the 45 of Tulsa. He's forward to the 50 and tackled there.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Tulsa Football. A lot of things going on in Tulsa this weekend. Out of Tulsa, Dale McNamara and women's golf team had a great tournament victory. But before we talk about Dale and her women's group, this Thursday, all weekend, will be the holiday mart at the fairgrounds. And can you fill us in on some more details about that?
Well, it's going to be a shopping extravaganza from the 17th of November through Sunday. I guess it's the 21st at the Expo Center. And the proceeds from this help not only the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane, but Operation Aware, which is a great charity in Tulsa, and I think the two have teamed up to make a first-class event which should really help people out as they begin their Christmas shopping.
Yeah, I know that we need a lot of help at our house for shopping extravaganza, so I know that Janet's looking forward to this, and she's going to work there also. This is the first time for the city of Tulsa to have this. We encourage everyone to go by, check it out. They'll open to the public noon Thursday and run through the weekend. Well, Bill Brogdon, of course, you oversee all the athletics at the University of Tulsa. Bill Brogdon has had a big victory this fall season in golf. Dale and the women's group somehow had to play golf in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I don't know how they did that, but a big victory over the weekend.
Oh, yes, indeed. In fact, it's a great way to end the fall for women's golf with a victory against the probably 10 best women's teams in the country. And Sophie Eriksson came in second place, but the team finished 6 strokes ahead of San Jose State, which I believe won the women's NCAA championship last year. So this puts us in great shape for
just a tremendous victory. I know that Coach McNamara is very excited about this group, and of course looking forward in the not too distant future of the spring season and the NCAA tournament, and maybe another championship season for both teams coming up. We just recently concluded our soccer season with Coach Waldrum and with the men and women's soccer and volleyball season, and wrapped up a pretty good year in both of them. I know Coach Colston is really building a fine program with volleyball women.
We've got some exceptional freshman talent on our women's volleyball team. The soccer team continues to, both men's and women's, continues to be strong. But the one I would really like to mention is cross country, which, as we know, has not been one of TU's greatest athletic strengths through the years. And Stanley Redwine has come in and not using his own players, but really bringing a whole new life to the program, ended up in the middle of the Missouri Valley Conference for the first time in a long time.
He's doing an outstanding job. And, of course, we mentioned earlier season tickets being the backbone to our program, and football season tickets being the larger amount, but we have a chance for people to buy basketball season tickets, and the time is getting short because we're running out.
Yes, indeed. We're very pleased with the results so far, but there is still time to buy season tickets, and we encourage everybody out there to do that.
And that number is 631, go TU, of course. Hey, we've enjoyed the time tonight, and we look forward to coming back next week and talking about the Cincinnati game. Hope you all have a good week. Good night.
Inside Tulsa Football with head coach Dave Rader is brought to you by the Williams Company, the Tulsa World, Southwest Airlines. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart. Smith Barney, we make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it. Pepsi. Pacific Care. When choosing a health plan, choose Pacific Care. Mazzio's Pizza. Lexus of Tulsa, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center. Bank of Oklahoma, where convenience is cornered. And by Arby's Roast Beef Restaurants. Coach Rader's quote.